We're on scene tonight with body cam video from police in Norman, Oklahoma. It starts with a frightening 911 call.
Right here at the Norman Winter Shelter, man. One of these homeless dudes just got shot in his head, man.
Okay, do you know who was that did it? Do you still see him?
Somebody walking this alley, away from Porter, going
away from Porter to the
like,
west?
Damn!
Was that a shot?
Immediately, as officers got to the alley, the suspect, Isis McMullen, began shooting at them.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Officer Daniel Brown dropped to the ground, returned fire. The body of a victim was on the ground close by. And at the same time, Officer Jenny Bryan approached the alley from the opposite direction. McMullen was seen standing and shooting at Officer Brown. Slowed down video shows muzzle flashes as she pulled the trigger. Bullets ricocheted behind the officer, but fortunately didn't hit. Officers Brown and Bryan and Dustin Crawford shot McMullen multiple times in her arms and legs. McMullen's weapon was seen on the ground near her as police took her into custody, gave her treatment. She was taken to the hospital and released the same day, then booked into jail. Investigators say McMullen shot a man in the back of the head, then stood over him and fired twice more, killing him. Another man was shot, was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. McMullen is charged with first-degree murder. None of the officers were injured. The DA's office has determined the use of force was justified. The incident remains under internal review, and the homicide is still under investigation. Joining me now is Sean Sticks Larkin, retired Tulsa police lieutenant. Sticks, this one, what a situation watching those officers arrive, knowing the suspect has already shot at least one person.
Yeah, you know, Norman, Oklahoma is only about 100 miles from us here in Tulsa. Been there many times myself, supporting my Oklahoma Sooners. But the way they responded to this call, the information from their witness was so important. Gave them an update on not only what had happened, where the suspect was, a clear description of the suspect, which allows the officers responding to it to kind of set themselves up tactically to go into this alley. What they did really good here is they didn't drive down the alley in their car and basically be stuck in their car should the suspect start, shooting at them, just as she did. Now, watching it, the officers are out on foot. There's not a lot of ballistic cover. So as soon as that first officer with the rifle starts taking those rounds, he basically dropped to the ground, as you mentioned, and made himself as small as possible while returning fire and hitting the suspect.
Yeah, and this is someone who they knew, just based on the 911 call, was incredibly dangerous. Give us a sense of how much do they know, right? Because just because someone calls and says something at 911 doesn't necessarily mean that the officers on the scene have every bit of information.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I haven't listened to the full 911 call, but the part that you played on there is basically what I heard as well. And you hear the caller, the witness that calls it in, doesn't say it's a man or woman, just says a dude's been shot in the head. And listen, I'll be honest, I instantly thought it was a male suspect. And so I was very surprised myself that when the officers got there and took the person into custody to find out it was a female. And that just shows, again, the mentality the officers have to have. They know they're going to a deadly force type of situation that's very, very likely based on the information they have from their witness. And that's how they approached it.
And the three officers sort of worked as a team here, right? Coming from different directions?
Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, they, without a doubt, I'm sure they communicated on the radio, hey, I'm going to come in from the, whether it's the south, I'm coming in from the north type of deal. And basically just try to lock that alley down. And again, just as I said in the beginning, that's how important it was having that witness that stayed on the phone to keep the officers updated exactly where their suspect was. It allows us responding to these things to plan while we're en route, running all these different possible scenarios through our head.
I mean, this was one scary video to watch. Sean Larkin,
absolutely.
You live this stuff. I get to watch it on video and think about it. But, boy, just imagining being there must have been very difficult for the cops. Appreciate you coming back.
Always, Dan.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.